Who are the coolest dudes on the planet?
United States veterans.
What's the coolest sport on the planet?
Pro wrestling.
And what would be the coolest podcast on the planet? That would be this one.
U.S. military vets talking pro wrestling.
This is the No Shave Man Cave. Two badass disabled vets sharing their love of pro wrestling, giving you their perspective as fans, talking about current events and matches, history of titles, and who knows what else. Let's do it.
Welcome to the No Shave Men Cave. Now your hosts, Ellie Jair and Jay Tilley.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, however you identify, let me tell you, you have found yourself in the right spot. You have found yourself in the No Shave Man Cave. I'm Ellie Jair.
Hey, I'm Jay Tilley.
Yes, sir. And you have joined us for the Revolution reaction. And man, let me tell you, I am sold. What is up, Jay?
Hey, man, I am glad you're sold.
Mm-hmm.
When we started this journey, you were watch AEW a little bit thing. And, last night we didn't do a whole lot of reactions on Twitter and didn't record anything right after because we were enjoying a little bourbon and had a couple friends over and watched it together. And what a show. Holy cow, man. Amazing.
What was even more fun was not just like all the bourbon and shout out to artists, the freaking Rollins and his boy Derek, the chef, chopping it up with us. Just awesome. Some camaraderie. Really enjoyed it. And but Derek, not being a current wrestling fan, but a historical wrestling fan, by the time we got like 3/4 of the way through, dude, he was sold. And and him being a Air Force Bubba, thank you, Derek, for your service. And artist freaking Rollins was a retired Army dog, so shout out to the shout out, and JT for hosting us with the mostest. And man, that brisket was banging, which I think we're gonna have to add that to our. We're gonna have to do triple B and like triple D and triple C, and man, it was a good time, and I'm super. This is probably the most excited I am to talk about blood.
Which is pretty. It's definitely saying something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. Derek being a lapsed wrestling fan, and him sitting there and going, "Yeah, I stopped watching." With Bret Hart and all them. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of about when I stopped watching.
Yeah.
So it was kind of neat to sit down with him and then watch him rediscover wrestling, and watch him kind of go, "Hey, this is really good. Like these guys are doing really awesome things in the ring, and they're doing really powerful like storytelling without knowing all the background in the build that AEW traditionally does."
And that was really like, I don't want to say that was my favorite part, but like watching his body language. He was like, okay, first I'm uncomfortable because I'm new to this group and I've never hung out with anyone other than artists, and then you being like uber hospitable and me not knowing a stranger, little by little, next thing you know, he's like leaned in, just devouring every second of the action. And man, the crowd, the storytelling, all the way down to some of the dastardly deeds that occurred a little bit later. It was hot, man. It was that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, really, really good show. Like we said last time when we kind of readjusted the format, we're not going to break down every match. We're not going to go through every move and everything. We're just going to kind of give you our highlights.
Yeah.
And if there's any lowlights,
dude, I can't think of any.
I don't have a whole lot of them. I thought the show top to bottom was fantastic. I can't even the Jericho Starks match, which opened and I had kind of low expectations for, which I don't know why, because Jericho does it to me every time. But I kind of was like, okay, I'm not pumped for this match. And it was great. And even like, and I hate to say it, the women's match, right? Like traditionally, they're usually put on the card in a place where the fans are like, okay,
Yeah.
we can take a break. It's a bathroom break or whatever. Man, those
Yep.
women came out and put on a show.
They freaking brought it.
The fans were absolutely hanging on every pinfall. The tag team match, 4-way tag team, was a blast. The House of Black was a like top to bottom, other than possibly the Wardlow Samoa Joe match, which I think kind of took that women's role in this pay-per-view, unfortunately, was kind of the slowdown match. And I don't even remember much about it other than looking up and seeing Samoa Joe passed out. And I'm like, wait, what happened?
Yeah,
Mox and Hangman,
waiting.
I mean, just, whew.
Yeah, I was waiting for Wardlow to hit the symphony, and I was like, well, maybe they won't do that because they want to sort of almost keep Samoa Joe strong, and they don't want to have Wardlow batter him into the mat too bad. But to have my man beat, I'm just, like, to have Samoa Joe submit to his own move.
Yep.
That was strong.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Strong.
Just like the end with Daniel Bryan tapping out clean. That's a huge push for MJF.
Yes.
I mean, clean-ish, we'll say. I mean, he did hit him with the little metal thing at the end there, but the oxygen tank. And technically, MJF tapped out. So they preserved Danielson. However, he tapped out. Like, there's no getting around. I'm done. I just, it was a great card. Couple things I'm curious to see if you picked up on that I noticed. Kind of going back through, and like when I watched it last night, I kind of took some notes, and I kind of sort of watched it a little today. I had it on in the background, while I was doing stuff, but I didn't get to pay much attention to it because I was working on other stuff to just help us improve the podcast, like reading that book and some other things.
Yeah.
So, but did you notice, one of the things I noticed is every WWE wrestler that went up against a AEW original lost. Every WWE, Chris Jericho went down to Ricky Starks. You had Ruby Soho and Paige go down to Hayter. Samoa Joe lost to Wardlow. The only one I think is probably an exception would be the House of Black going over the Elite, because Malachi Black is former WWE, but he was never main roster, so I don't know if that counts or not. And I noticed, I kind of like was thinking about it, and I was reading some stuff. I'm like, holy cow! Like, all the WWE originals lost.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, this is built into a Chris Jericho losing streak. He hasn't won in a while since he lost to Andrade, so I'm hoping that's going to tie into some further storyline things.
Yep.
I thought that was interesting.
You had Mox. You had Mox submit.
Oh yeah, Mox lost to Hangman. That was the other one. Yep.
So Mox hasn't submitted, tapped. I was reading a thing. I think it was What Culture. Shout out to Ups and Downs of Revolution. They have a blood machine meter.
That must be new. I hadn't seen that yet.
I was intimately interested in the blood machine rating. But yeah, I think it was 2012 was the last time that Mox actually submitted. And I thought that was pretty smooth how they slid him out after the match.
Yeah,
so
through the back.
Yep. So that's going to be super interesting how that furthers I don't even think furthers the story. Maybe it ends the story and pushes another agenda or something. But yeah, no, that's a good point, because I don't know that I would consider. Well, I guess you would have to consider Samoa Joe a WWE guy, because that's where he came from originally.
And same with Mox. Technically, Mox is a WWE guy, and he lost to Hangman. So
that's strong. That's a good pickup, and I would venture to say there's probably something to that.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tony Khan didn't do that on accident.
Yeah.
But it was good. I just that whole pay-per-view, like, I'm just trying to go through it in all of my head and some of the ramifications, because I'll talk about the MJF Daniel Bryanson.
Mm-hmm.
Even that one, Bryan Danielson, whatever is going by now. WWE guy lost to MJF. Yeah. Lost to MJF, another WWE guy who went down to an AEW guy.
I'm trying to think who took the pin in the tag team Quattro slash up.
Danhausen took the pin
Okay,
from
yeah.
the Guns.
Never mind.
But that was, I guess Jarrett maybe was the only WWE guy in that match. Sort of.
WWE-ish. Yeah.
Yeah, so that one
Yeah.
I didn't really think about.
Yeah.
But
No,
and I'm
yeah,
not
I
and I'm
mean,
not
that's
saying
a
that to bash
strong-
anything, right? Like I'm not
No,
bashing
no.
it. It was just
No.
kind of one of those things. That's coincidental.
Yeah. Good timing. Contracts are coming due. Prior AEW Bubba's are getting pushed, i.e. Cody. And, every April, now we're going to do this every year. Every year
Absolutely.
in April, WWE is going to be putting on WrestleMania, and AEW is going to have contracts coming due. Are they going to slap time on the back end because of injury? So now, we can read into the Elite dropping the Trios championships. But if you do the math, he was gone 9 months. That means he's going to be available in, December, January. So you're getting ready for WrestleMania next year.
Yep.
And, you're going to have Omega available unless, he's going to resign. You're going to have the bidding war of 24 for Maxwell Jacob Friedman. And then, is it going to be the Bucks will follow kind of a thing? And I don't know if they're going to be money driven or story driven or a challenge driven, maybe. Like I've never competed in the WWE. I was challenged by the Wrestling Observer. I can't fill a 10,000 seat stadium. They did it in 4 minutes. That's going to be super, super interesting going forward. And, the fact that AEW has gone west now, they hung out in Texas for, I think they did 5 or 6 shows in Texas.
Yeah.
WWE just recently went back into Canada. So I found that almost sort of interesting. I don't know how that's going to play into what's happening with Edge and Christian as Edge's contract is getting ready to expire. But yeah, that's strong, man. I didn't even pick up on that till now that we're saying it, and I'm looking at the card right in front of me, like, wow, that's a strong.
Oh yeah, and Christian lost to Jungle Boy.
Yep.
So I think every match on that card, other than the 4-way tag, was a WWE former versus AEW original.
Yeah.
And yes, I know the story wasn't built that way, but that's one of those things I picked up on.
Yeah.
And the other thing I was thinking about today, because I was one to complain about the build up leading into this, which is fun because you were all excited about this pay-per-view, and I don't think they built it up nearly like they have in the past. One of the things that I noticed, and I started thinking, because I had a hard time with the Elite and House of Black thing, because usually the Elite do some good mic work, they set stuff up. Well, I started thinking about it. I don't think the Elite have been on the mic since they got back from Brawl Out. I can't think of a promo they've cut. I can't think of We Address the Fans. I can't think of, I can't wait till like AEW is streaming, because I would totally go back and research this to see if it happened. But I think the best of 7 came from Tony Khan. There wasn't any challenge issued. They've done little things in the back, like the Isaiah Cassidy, moaning in his ear, stuff like that. But I don't think they've been out in front of the crowd to say, "Hey, here's where we stand." And it just struck me. I was like, well, maybe there's something to that story that I'm missing or not picking up on, that the House of Black's just not letting them, because they were going to come out on Wednesday and unannounced, which is fine, I guess. But, maybe that was their time to come talk, and then the House of Black jumped them. So interesting. The other part of that whole storyline is with them losing the titles, that just throws all this fuel on they pulled the titles from them because they're going to push them into WWE or let them go to WWE.
Hey, so let's pull the curtain back behind, or move the dirt or rubble inside the man cave. So, pretty much everything that you fantasy booked, penciled in, gave the chef's kiss to, occurred. And I was like, oh no, this is going to happen. Squirt. No. Oh no, here's what's going to happen. Squirt. No. And the only thing that I was correct about was that that there'd be matches in California, and it would end around midnight, and it ended at 11:58. That was like, because I was like, oh no, this will happen. Oh no, this will happen. And I actually even questioned whether or not MJF was going to win.
And you questioned my
And-
FTR call.
Dude, like, hey, listen, fam. Jay Tilly we were like 45 minutes in, and he's like, hey, what about this? And I was like, no way, dude. I listened to the podcast. Dax has got a pretty solid podcast. His sidekick is questionable at best, but I'm not here to judge. And it was like almost spot on. Like, not that wrestling scripted, but yeah, dude, it was. I was super impressed with. Normally I can, if you put me like ringside at a WWE, you put on some headphones, and me and Michael Cole. I mean, I'm just as good as Michael Cole because I know the choreography and everything with WWE. I was super impressed, not only with your foreshadowing what was going to occur, but the production. Kudos.
Oh, it was.
I don't want to take your
night
move,
and day.
but kudos to production. Thank you, TK, and everyone behind the scenes listening to the fans over the last couple of days. Some of the camera issues and stuff. The boys and girls in the back are giving it hell, and they don't. I don't want to say deserve, but they shouldn't have to suffer from Joe Bag of Donuts panning a camera because he's interested to see what wrestler XYZ is doing. And the crowd was hot until someone got water thrown on them. And then
They were even hotter after that.
dude, that mom was like, you better never. Did you read the story about that?
Yeah, and it wasn't
Bro.
water. It was tequila.
Yes. So Mr. Titus, hope you're doing okay. You didn't get any in your eyes. He just kind of tossed it on the front of him. He is being taken care of because next week they are going to be in Sacktown, Sacramento, and they're bringing them all access.
Yep.
And Titus's favorite wrestler is the Monster Hobbs, and he got to spend. They didn't say exactly how much time, but Mom was okay with it. He got a bunch of cool swag. Swag.
Oh yeah, it made his
for
night.
Stuff we all want to get, and so good way to stay in character. MJF. I think he got fined a little bit, but probably nothing because I think he's re-signed a deal and stayed in character.
Yeah,
So-
he is amazing. So
Yeah.
talking about Derek and he's in there watching and just his responses to this guy's an asshole. I'm like, yes, he is. Like, he is top shelf, the best. I'll fight you, prove me wrong. He's the best
Yeah.
heel in wrestling right now. Hands down. There's nobody I can think of that is a better heel right now.
Yeah.
And-
Besides Bully, over there cross promotions with Impact and NWA, because he's grabbing Josh Alexander's wife and questioning the manhood of Billy Corrigan, who's the owner of NWA and is also the lead singer of Smashing Pumpkins, and just like you're something about his bass chords and all. It's so but yeah, MJF to be so young, I think he's 26, 27.
Yeah, I think so.
And I mean, I can't even imagine, I deployed a couple of times, but I couldn't grab a mic and perform like that. So kudos to, not only kudos to MJF and, really owning the character and owning his development of that character, but living the character to the point where his mom goes on shows and says, "Oh, I tried. He's just a dirtbag."
Yep.
And then the husband comes on and he's like, that he's the biggest regret of my. I'm just like, dog, you've got your parents. You have your parents, but like, if my mom was still, hanging out, and my dad was there, they'd be like, "Oh, we're so proud of him. God bless America, and thanks for doing whatever." Like, even if I told him, "Dude, I will pay your house off. I just need you to say that I'm a dirtbag." Oh, Ellie Jerry told me that I should say he's a dirtbag, but
Yeah.
he's a sweetheart, and he would shovel your driveway if there was snow in it. And he's just such a good mom. I told you.
Yeah.
So good stuff. Like,
You know what I
all
would
around, man.
love to see with MJF, and I don't know how it'll happen, or like the storyline that they could tell with him long term. If they did some kind of invasion angle or something,
Mhm.
let's say the New Japan guys keep coming out and attacking, or let's say they do Ring of Honor. I don't know. They do something. Talk about a massive babyface pop if he were to come out and make the save from an invading force into AEW.
Oh,
You
damn.
know, I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, I don't know of a heel
Wow.
that's as hated as him, but oh my gosh, when he'd flip to become babyface, if they did it right, would be amazing.
Yeah.
Especially because you could do it in a way where he is still kind of an asshole, but
Yeah.
you're rooting for him now because he's fighting. He's got a cause that you agree with.
Yeah, because he's defending the honor of AEW.
Right.
And it's like, the emotional turmoil that Ruby was going through.
Right.
And, if we wanted to back up, so, the show kicks off, Jericho and Starks. Starks goes over, Jericho hopefully goes away, hits the reset, comes back. I envision him on the show on Wednesday. He,
I think he'll talk about being on a
patronizes-
losing streak.
yeah, I think he'll patronize the fans. He'll give Sammy Guevara some real serious trash. Garcia will intervene or something, or maybe it's vice versa. Hey, you don't talk to Jericho like that. There'll be some civil unrest amongst the JAS. So they go away. The women's match, Hater delivered. Not just one, but delivered. I mean, some of the moves that were put on, I really wish Ruby wouldn't have assimilated into the group with Saraya and Jamie, because that means she's that much longer away from the title.
Yeah, but
then you're
storyline,
like-
it makes sense though.
Okay.
Because she is that former WWE personality. Things have not been going her way, trying to be the original, like AEW is my house too. So it makes sense for her to do
I'm
that.
going to join them.
Right. So I could see that. What I'm
Maybe
curious
that,
about is
maybe that
who's going
helps
to be.
her win the most beautiful title in women's wrestling, the TBS title. Well, TBS
Well, that's what I was
or
gonna
the
say
New
is-
Japan title, or they're both beautiful, but aesthetically, like colors and everything, and then plus the gear or the But I think that will be super interesting going forward. The story that can be told. One has the baddies, one has the world champion. Who's more credible?
Right.
Oh, you
So-
don't know me. I'm 55-0, or I'm whatever. Oh, that's great because I'm the women's world champion. And then Ruby comes in. I'm only supposed to be a bar back or a bartender at a dive bar, and then she hits her with her switch kick, which was sick.
Yeah.
And then spray painted Britt, and
Yep.
dude, that was yowza. So
Yeah, I could see them maybe. I'm trying to think of who else was on the roster, female wrestlers that could join them, but
Mhm.
makes you wonder who's going to balance out the sides. So now you've got Hater and DMD alone by themselves, really what's been on TV versus the three of them.
Yeah.
So are you going to bring Nyla Rose on TV as the big hitter, or is this going to be the face turn for Jade Cargill and she comes out and makes a save? And like you said, now you've taken both your champions
There
and
you
put them in a
go.
good storyline with the women, because Jade is 100% an original.
Damn. Yeah.
So
my head is spinning now with the.
Well, just like I said with MJF,
Where's my book? I gotta write some notes. That's solid, dude.
Well, yeah, just like I just said with MJF, like that would be the perfect
That's
way
solid.
to immediately flip Jade to a face
Mhm.
and immediately raise her to the level of DMD and them. So now, yes, it's a secondary title, but it's not, because now she's standing toe to toe, or side to side with the champion.
Mhm.
Now you've got a built-in story of those three versus the other three. Then, down the road, Saraya goes, well, I've got more friends, and Monet shows up as their fourth.
Money.
Now, I will say that Tony Khan did make a comment on the press conference that because she's a champion for another division, he's not even talking to her right now, which I thought was respectful. Like that he wouldn't mess with that, like try to offer her contract while she's with her partner. So I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, now that I say that, like, I want to see that. I want to see Jade come out and save their asses and be the balancing force. And now you've got a pretty strong, true core AEW original, especially with Britt Baker and Jade, because they really didn't work anywhere else before AEW.
Right.
I think Britt did some independent, but
yeah, she did some Eastern. It's ICW or I'll look it up. But yeah, so she did some Eastern Eastern States wrestling, some other indie stuff. But
she never did like Stardom or anything like that.
No.
She was never with a major promotion, like because Hayter was with Stardom for a little bit. So
yeah,
but
and you
Jade
can tell like that hard hitting, like high
that
landing,
Joshi style.
The Joshi, shoo, you're bringing it. But the what would you call that, Excalibur? But the oh man, I just lost my shiny object. The excitement though is now that we're sitting here talking about this in public, imagine the AEW version of War Games.
Oh
man. Bro. So you have
I guess they kind of have the blood and guts, but yeah, I'd like to see the 2 rings set up. Yeah, that would be cool.
So you do the pillars against the
whoever,
call it the outsiders or the others or whatever. The pillars versus the shiznizzles, whatever you're going to call them, and then you've got the women that, like, man. Now that you're saying that, like,
they
Jade
do have
Cargill that. Is the she's never worked anywhere else. Jamie Hayter made her name here in AEW, or there in AEW. I say that because I'm near Jacksonville. Britt, and then Ruby would sort of be on the outside looking in, like, okay, what do I do with you? Tony Storm absolutely would be on the outside looking in. We'd need one or two other AEW women.
I mean, you got Riho and Sheeta if you wanted to, or you've got Nyla Rose.
Oh, damn.
They have plenty of really good ones to set up. And I think about it. I think, if I remember correctly, Blood and Guts is the 2-ring setup that they use, if I remember right. Because I know they've done it before. It was Blackpool Combat Club versus JSA, and I think it was a Blood and Guts.
Yep, yeah, that's true. Yep.
But that's another thing. Like, where's Blackpool Combat Club going now? Like, is Moxley going to go away for a while now they lost? Are they going to go after the Trios title, or is because Moxley's going away for a while, Yuta and Claudia are going to focus on their Ring of Honor stuff, and we just won't have BCC on for a while?
Right.
I have a feeling Danielson will go away for a little bit. Maybe we'll hear from him Wednesday. But rumor is he wants to go do the G1 Classic, so I could see him.
Yeah, so that's a 2-month event, and there's tiers. There's tiers to it. So, like, if you're gonna get the Dragon, he's not a one and done guy. So I mean, he'll be there. Say he would get semifinals ish. So, super legit. So
Ring of Honor in 2018, I don't remember exactly what year it was, but Ring of Honor was part of the G1. So Ring of Honor had their own G1 lead up and then cross pollinated and
Dude,
so I could see him awesome. Like Claudio and Yuta and Danielson doing G1, and then they can just host it all on the Ring of Honor website. So it doesn't bleed into AEW much, so they could be part of the G1, which would be genius.
Right. Yeah, and that wouldn't end up hurting. That wouldn't end up hurting the Ring of Honor production,
Right.
dude. That's oof. I just got goosebumps.
Yep.
Yeah, Wheeler Yuta in there against a lot of the Japanese wrestlers. He always keeps his hips low,
Hmm.
moves really well. So I mean, he's gonna smash it. Claudio, super crisp, moves like a demon. I'd like to see how Samoa Joe would fare. I don't I don't know that he's got the cardio or the desire to move like that, so he may be omitted. And then you have the recently exited the King, Eddie Kingston.
Yep.
So I mean that's still a lot of fun. I would
Yeah.
think
Oh
that
yeah.
Eddie would want to go over to New Japan and show his craft and
Yep. And he's got
give
such
it
a
hell
huge
over there.
respect for them
Right.
and that culture and that kind of
Yeah.
wrestling. So he would go over there and have a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
He'd be very respectable too over there. He didn't do too bad. Actually came out on top of one of the DDT top wrestlers too over there. So I mean,
yep.
I don't I don't see any negatives with what you're prescribing. So I think the way the card went though, I mean, I was so floored, if I'm allowed to say that, and I expected Stark to win because I wanted him to advance, and end that storyline, move forward, get all that magic done. I wanted Wardlow to get the TNT title, move into the program with the Monster, and be part of the Book of Hobbs. I think Hobbs will carry that title, and I think long term, I think the TNT title, it's going to exchange hands frequently just to
I agree.
keep it fresh. Beautiful title, by the way. I mean, just aesthetically super cool. Looking forward to see what that how that story unfolds. Totally blown away by the tag team four way. Did not
Way better than I
expect
thought it was
that.
going to be.
Did not expect that story to go. And I also didn't expect it to come down to Orange Cassidy and Danhausen along with the Guns. So kudos to the writers. The women's match was fantastic. I would say the only thing that really ticked me off was I figured MJF would be really, really sleazy in the front part of it, and he got down. Um, he got down one pin, ended up crotch shotting Brian Danielson, got a couple of pins, evened it out, and then ended up cracking him with the oxygen container. And for it to end like that after an hour plus, I totally appreciate Tony not allowing it to end in a draw and just leaving the questions out there looming for wrestling fans. But then, like you said, it keeps them both strong because MJF, you snarky, sleazy heel, you cheated to win. Well, that's what I do because I'm that kind of bastard.
Right.
And then Brian Danielson, if and when he comes back, he's like, I told you I was the best in the world, and you needed to cheat to get any pins on me, let alone one pin. And crotch shot, DQ, pin,
Mm-hmm.
and canister. Okay, cool. Built-in storyline when Brian Danielson comes back from the G1. And dude, if he comes back and he's the G1 like semifinalist or champ or whatever, or bro, if he shows up with the most magnificent title in wrestling, the New Japan United States title, or he ends up in a program with
Kenny,
the snap and pop that program would have would be phenomenal.
So what do you think is next for MJF? Who do you think is going to step up as the next challenger?
Based on the Texas Death Match, I would think it would be Hangman. He's another original. He's on this Retribution story. I would love with the big heart. I would love Miro to
Me
come
too.
out, and I would love Miro to come out. And I wouldn't be upset if Mr. Hardy would show up clean and sober, ready to rock and roll. But I think that ship has probably sailed. But I'd like a nice Retribution story, either Hangman or Miro. But other than that, I'm not really sure who's ready, willing, and able.
I think Jungle Boy.
Oh.
I think Jungle Boy is going to be. I think now that Jungle Boy has put Christian Cage in his back, he's been talking about going for a single title. I think So I've got a couple fantasy bookings that I'm looking at. So I'd like to see Jungle Boy come out. MJF's doing his big thing Wednesday. I won. I told you it was the best. And Jungle Boy comes out. I've buried Christian Cage. Now I've said I'm coming for a title, and he just points at him like, I'm coming for yours. Because I think that'd be a pretty good feud. Two originals. Okay. I think Jungle Boy would be good. For Miro, what I'd like to see Miro do is I'd like Hobbs to beat Wardlow. Maybe not this week, but in the feud. And I'd like Miro to come out and take it from Hobbs and jump right back into the TBS title. Or TBS? TNT title.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to him. I mean, he can come out and beat Jade too, but that'd just be weird. So have him come out and beat, have him come out and get right into that mix. Another possibility I was thinking would be Darby Allin, but I really think they're building something with him and Sting for Sting's going away.
Yeah.
I may be wrong. I'm not sure.
No, yeah.
And then,
I could see that they build something with FTR and the Guns, and then FTR. I don't know if you'd want FTR to get beat by Sting and Darby.
No, I think Sting and Darby will be a solo program. I mean, I don't know that they'll give, unless you put Sting. No, I think they're just going to do a Sting and Darby kind of feud / mentor mentee, kind of the Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels kind of thing.
Sort of a resolution.
Retirement. Yeah, I'm sorry. And he kicks him.
Time for me to go. Yeah.
Yep.
Or I don't need you anymore.
And then another little story thread with so Adam Cole's another possibility for MJF. I just don't think it's time.
No.
So I personally think Adam Cole's the one that's going to take it from him. I think Adam Cole will be the one to win it from him, either at the War of 24 or whatever. I think Adam Cole will be the one to unseat him. However, I do believe that MJF's going to probably hold it through this year. I think Jungle Boy will be a challenger. He'll beat Jungle Boy. Hangman potentially, and he'll beat Hangman. And then Adam Cole will be the one to take it from him. Is my thought. But
because you're gonna have to build Adam. You're gonna have to build Adam Cole, baby. You're gonna have to build him for months. So
you think? You don't think if he walked out on Wednesday and challenged MJF, it wouldn't be a huge pop and draw?
No, I mean he's got his return match coming up here shortly. But I mean he's gonna have to get several wins under his belt, and with the limited TV time with this huge roster, you're going to have your hands full trying to get everybody and their brother on TV.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to wrestle once a month, maybe twice a month on TV, get a storyline, and MJF will dispatch Jungle Boy. Someone else will come out of the woodworks. Maybe Hobbs starts getting a little froggy.
Maybe they run back Starks.
Oof.
Yeah, because they did that one
Starks,
and he lost, but Starks at the end of that said it's not over. He's just going to reset, so
and
they can run Starks back.
And then you got Ethan Page sitting out there like, "Hey, I'm all ego, and you don't know me," and they figure out how to, reset that. So you got Starks, Hobbs, Hangman. Yeah, I mean you could do a few things, and then there's got to be a way. And then Jungle Boy, yeah. So you got Starks, Hobbs, Jungle Boy, Hangman, and then you distance. Man, do you make Wardlow the guy that takes the title?
He was another one of my guesses
from Hank. Woo.
So
dude, I just got goosebumps just on my left leg.
I mean, so you think about it. Wardlow absolutely squashed MJF
Mhm.
in like minutes. So you end up taking Wardlow's got his title back now. He loses it to Hobbs. Maybe he loses that feud for a little bit, or maybe he comes out Wednesday right to MJF. But I think so. I think the next I can almost what I'd like to see his next group of opponents being, and I think it could either be Wardlow or Adam Cole that are going to take it from him. But Jungle Boy, I think will be a feud in there.
That'll be fun.
I think possibly Darby Allin could be a feud in there. Hangman maybe, and then I think Wardlow or Adam Cole are going to be to take it from it, unless CM Punk comes back, and then I could see CM Punk maybe coming in. I just don't know that they're going to push CM Punk right to the title picture, right when he gets there because of everything that happened.
Yeah.
But that being said, like I'm curious what happens to the Elite next. So speaking of Hangman, he's the only person of the Elite that won last night too, even though he's kind of on the outskirts of the Elite. But I thought that was interesting too.
Oh yeah, he's one of the originals. So you're like, wait a minute, and like, you know, we were sitting there talking as the match was progressing, and we were like, well, we know right off the jump, Omega's not taking the pin,
right?
And then we were like, okay, well, if anyone takes the pin, it would be one of the brothers, but which brother would it be? Oh no way, and it's not going to be Brody, it's not going to be Malachi. So sorry for your luck, dude. And
I did not see House of Black winning that match,
bro.
That one surprised me. So my fantasy all-time fantasy booking was the Elite winning it, and then FTR and CM Punk coming out and challenging them.
Yeah,
like I thought that would be dream match, but that's something that everybody's always talked about. But I thought that'd be dream. I had no idea. That one surprised me.
Yeah.
Out of all the matches of the night, that one made me go, "What?" I did not see House of Black win it. I'm glad they did. I thought it was great.
Yeah. No, I thought it was perfect storytelling.
But I didn't see it coming.
It feeds into the Elite leaving WWE or leaving for WWE, having Hart take a super kick. I think that kind of played into it and sort of gave the House of Black a little bit more fire.
Yep.
And now we got to figure out, okay, who's going to challenge them? Well, I mean, the first people that come to mind are the Lucha Brothers and
Briscoe.
Mr. Briscoe, because he's going to have to give the tag team titles for Ring of Honor back, and I can't wait to see. Hopefully, they redesign the Ring of Honor tag team titles,
right, and retire those,
sort of honor the Briscoe brothers, and just like you said, retire that current edition, and then he runs it with some trios titles, or he does some fun stuff with AEW. So it's there's so much going on and so much fun to be had. The card was just phenomenal. The crowd fed into it. Titus was the kid's name that got a drink thrown on him. The swerves and the surprises. Welcome back to FTR. I'm trying to get a hold of that shirt. It's sold out on WrestlingTees.com and
is it?
AEW.com.
I had it in my cart last night and I didn't buy it.
Yeah. I tried to buy it twice today. So sorry to my instructor. I'm in advanced school. My bad. But I can't wait to see what's going. And you always like to see the show after a big event. That first show you catch on TV, and they call it the aftermath, the fallout. What's going to happen? What's the fallout? Who's not going to show up? Who's going to show up beaten and battered?
Right.
And AEW is still working on the spray tan situation, so some of their wrestlers looked a little yellow more than tan. And cool tribute. You picked up on the tribute with MJF's gear.
Yeah, he wore the same gear pattern as Shawn Michaels in his Iron Man.
Yeah, man. And I'm all about like what the title looks like, what the title means, why things were made the way they were, and what this match was with, whatever. And there were a lot of tributes throughout the entire show. So to wrestling fans everywhere, hit us up on Twitter or YouTube, wherever you're grabbing your podcast when you drop your reviews and you say, hey, during this match, this wrestler did this move as a tribute to so and so. And during the Texas Death Match, tell me how many wrestlers got tributes to certain moves, and we'll send you a T-shirt or something, because I counted 5, and then as I was rolling through Twitter and stuff, I think there was 8 total. So nice tribute by the Madman there, Moxley hitting him with the curb stomp on the brick in honor of Seth. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, Bruiser Brody with the chain swinging it around. There was a lot of pretty neat stuff. It was a great show. It was, since we've started this podcast, my first 5 beard show.
Woo!
100%. Nothing that I think took away from it. It was absolutely 5-star, 5 beard, blow away. Like you said, if you're not a wrestling fan, watch it. If you're a lapsed wrestling fan, I'm waiting. I'm going to reach out to Jeremy and be like, hey, dude, here's our login. Go watch this, man. Like, if you want to see what AEW is about, go watch this.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
No, that's fair. I mean, you saw what Derek, the emotional ride that Derek went through. You take cash credit, house credit, MasterCard, American Express. He walked in with 0 credibility, and he left with a black card, and he just, he's in AEW, and he's a card-carrying member of the, if not House of Black, he was all in, Brody Lee, and just that,
and MJF.
Shoot! Oh yeah, the story.
Yeah, he was done with MJF, man. He's dude, like, that's it. This is awesome.
Like,
I can't.
What? This guy's
this is amazing.
Bag.
Yep.
Tosses the drink on the kid, and at that point we thought it was water. Oh, I can't believe he did. Why would you throw water? Okay, so water is $2. Like if you get a bottle of water or whatever, you get a glass of tequila,
and that was a big glass of tequila,
dude. That was probably $20. And went right on Titus. Hopefully, mom was okay and got taken care of on the back end. Don't make it weird. And yeah, dude, that was a great show, start to finish. Shabani probably needed some caffeine toward like the middle, toward the end. He didn't pick up until he got to take his Skechers down to the ring. Got blood flowing again. Taz was a phenomenal
every time,
phenomenal on the mic. If Jericho or Mark Henry had been on the mic, I would have dropped a 5 beard on it. But not that 4.5 beards is bad. That's the highest rating I've given since our journey has began, and super impressed with the crowd. The feedback the crowd was giving throughout the entire show. I was totally swerved, hook, line, and sinker, bought in, and I'm here for it. So yeah, all in all, man, great show. Awesome camaraderie. Thank you to artist frickin' Rollins and the chef D Wizzle for joining us, and not to mention a bunch of bourbon. So can't be mad at that.
So you went 4.5 on it, huh?
Yes, sir.
Interesting. All right. I thought you were going to go 5 for sure.
It was close, man. Yeah, I got a little in my feels about the canister of the oxygen when the match got restarted. When he hit him with the donkey kick, and the ref just like go right ahead, hit him with the title, blah blah blah. It's like, dude, what on earth?
Well, yeah, that's because but that's because if he'd have hit him with it, it would have disqualified him, and Danielson would have got the belt. That's why he was telling him to go ahead and do it. And he DQ'd him with the crotch hit.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean,
when he did it right in front of the ref, he DQ'd him. That's how Danielson got up to 2, and then he got those two quick pins that evened it out. So it went 2-2. So
yeah, I just man, I was
that's
still
all good.
I still got a little in my feels. hope Mox and the fam are enjoying a little bit of time off. I hope he finally gets it. He's been trying to get some time off since the Brawl for All, and the reign of terror by MJF will continue for the time being. So God bless America.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to wrap this one up. I want to thank all of our listeners. Please follow us on our socials if you're not already. At No Shave Man Cave, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, wherever. At No Shave Man Cave. Give us those 5-star reviews on Apple iTunes. Leave us a comment, and then follow us on Twitter and drop a comment below in the Twitter feed on what you think. And if you're watching this on YouTube, drop a comment there too and give us some ratings.
Absolutely. Thank you, JT, for hosting us last night. You were the host with the most. And, as we always say, every time we hop off, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you on the floor.
You've been listening to the No Shave Men Cave.
If it's pro wrestling, we're talking about it. Unless we see something shiny and wander off into the woods. If you hang around long enough, we'll eventually come back. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Fire off your comments and be sure to leave us a 5-star rating, and we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hit us up on Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok at No Shave Men Cave. Y'all be cool, and we'll see you next time on the floor.